Judge, may I approach, have another item marked? When you were at the office earlier, you were sick. Are you still?
I am still sick. Better get sick.
Ms. Collins, let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes. It states exhibit number 20. Can you identify this exhibit?
And that is my original packaging. It would be B22, and it is one black and blue notebook / binder from the ground in the south alley in the 52 room, Kingston.
That's what we saw some pictures of. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you put it in this bag when you collected it?
Yes, sir.
Again, it's paper, not plastic, right?
Correct.
Is that rules they require? Orders, general orders?
Yes.
You want to open that?
I will.
And why are you putting on gloves?
Just,
When you handle evidence, you use gloves?
yes, sir, I do.
Especially if items have been around blood?
Yes, sir.
Is that general orders or just common sense?
Both.
Would you advise the jury if they handle these items to wear gloves?
Yes, please.
And this is the binder you seized, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Got some questions about it, but first I will offer into evidence. Judge, do you want the binder marked separately from the packaging?
That won't be necessary.
Then I will offer into evidence state's exhibit number 20 and what was its contents or what will remain its contents?
Yes, sir. It will remain its contents.
Okay. I will tender it to defense counsel for him to say that I'm not going to pick it up and take it over there. He can come with it.
No, I don't have any objection to this. These are.
Stage 20 is admitted to be in the binder and its evidence packaging.
So show the jurors that binder.
Yes, sir.
I notice there's a piece of paper, it looks like on the front. Do you know where that came from?
It appears to be notebook paper,
Right.
and I can tell you that there is notebook paper inside this binder.
All right, keep that binder open, and there's a page in there. Would you remove that page, or at least move it over? And that shows, I'm not going to tell you what it shows. What does that show?
I suspected this to be a bullet defect. It shows that the paper is kind of fountained out, for lack of better terminology, up here at the top.
And turn that around and show us the back of it. I think the photographs revealed a bullet hole.
I suspected this to be bullet damage. I don't know if you can see the smoke hole. It's in the dark area here.
Okay. Was that the only binder found at the scene by you?
Yes, the only one lying out. I don't recall. I collected a backpack, and I know nothing was outside of that backpack, so this was the only thing. It was out on the ground.
The rule's been invoked and you have not been able to sit in the courtroom and listen to testimony. If a witness were to testify that a dead girl was clutching a binder, did you find anything out at the scene that would constitute a binder other than State's Exhibit number 20, the binder you have there and its packaging?
This is the only binder that I located.
Okay. Good enough. I have more evidence. Doesn't have first degree. Ms. Collins, let me show you State's Exhibit number 21, and I'll ask if you can identify that exhibit.
This is my evidentiary item B21A, and it's one Stephen King book with suspected blood and bullet damage. It came from inside that travel blanket, that blue blanket that we've been talking about that was lying on the ground.
And that would be the book that we saw photographs of earlier, is that correct?
That's correct.
Will you please open that package?
Yes, sir.
Same question, Judge. You don't want this marked independently, the contents, correct?
Won't be the need for that.
You're not going to need to ask that every time, do you? I noticed when you took that exhibit out, it had it's wrapped in some paper. What's the purpose of that?
I used this paper when I photographed that book. The exhibit was either 18 or 19, I believe it was. The photographs that I took
Yes, ma'am.
the photographs that I took of the binder, I photographed this book at the same time. I used this paper underneath the book to possibly preserve any trace evidence that may have been there.
Is that being ordered?
There's also, you can see inside this paper, when you open it up, there's also vegetation that was attached. It was picked up, so I wanted to preserve.
Oh, so when you collected the book out of the blanket, there were some particles attached to it that had been, what, kept inside the wrapping?
There were also more small pieces of the white paper that we discussed earlier. They're in here as well.
Do you know where the white paper came from? You don't have any personal knowledge. do you?
No, I don't have any.
You could only speculate.
That's correct.
And we're not supposed to speculate.
That is correct.
But show us that book. Okay, show us the back of it. Now, and before I go into the judge at this time, I will offer into evidence State's Exhibit number 21 and its contents.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Look at that one. Can you turn around for me?
Absolutely not.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
No objection, Your Honor.
State's Exhibit 21 is admitted.
If you'll show the jury that, and then turn it around. And why did you collect that? What is there about the back of that book and the front of that book?
I suspected this to be a bullet defect.
A bullet, you suspect a bullet entered there at the back and went through the book?
And I suspected it exited the front.
Why do you suspect it went in the back and exited the front?
Just you see the pushing in of this defect here, and then yet again, we're poking outward from the front, which would indicate to me that the trajectory, it entered from the back and exited the front.
And the entry wound or the entry point would be small, then if the shell exploded, it would be larger on the other side?
Correct.
Anything else about that? Does that have suspected blood on it?
Yes, it does.
So you would also advise use caution, perhaps rubber gloves, if that is inspected?
Yes.
The jury, correct?
That is correct.
All right, thank you. You can put that back in its packaging. Judge, I'm sorry. May I approach her? I'm
Yes,
just
sir.
walking around like a home clothes. May I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Collins, let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit number 22.
It's my evidentiary item B30, and it's one metal fragment from the grass on the north side of that alley.
When you showed us your placard number 31 on the photograph that you found after you moved the blanket, in back of that was a placard number 30, is that correct?
That's
And
correct.
you told us there was a metal fragment there?
Yes,
And you're saying enclosed within this envelope is that metal fragment?
that is correct.
How do you know that?
My seal has not been, this was my original seal when I packaged this item. This was my original seal, and you can tell that there are no one else has gotten into this packaging. You can also feel the metal fragment in the bottom, and I can tell you this is my seal because it has my initials, my badge number, and the date the seal was placed on this piece of evidence.
So since State's Exhibit 22 was collected on
It was collected on the 2nd.
9/2/16, this does not appear to have been opened, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you checked it into the police property room after you recovered it and took it to the police department?
That is correct.
Is that what you do with evidence?
Yes.
Open this and see if there's an item of evidence in it.
It's a metal fragment.
Exactly what was supposed to be in it, correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you. You can put that in. Would you advise using rubber gloves to inspect that item?
Yes, I would.
And since no one else has opened that, at this time, the state will offer into evidence State's Exhibit number 22 and its content.
No objection.
It's admitted.
It's all right to handle the envelope but not the contents.
Yes.
Show you what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit number 23. What is that exhibit?
It is my evidentiary item B31, which is the bullet slug from the ground beneath the travel blanket.
So that's the item you found after you moved the blanket.
That is correct.
Does it appear to have been opened since you turned it in?
It does.
Okay. So when you collected placard number 31 fragment, what did you do with it?
I placed it in this envelope, and it was sealed and turned into our property room.
And what happened, you don't have any personal knowledge as to what happened to it after that?
No, I do not.
When you collected State's Exhibit number 23, you placed it in the envelope, did you change, alter, add to, or detract from it in any way other than by placing it inside the envelope and marking your identifying information on it?
No, I did not.
And then you checked it into the property?
That's correct.
Let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit number 24. Can you identify State's Exhibit number 24?
This appears to be 22 caliber cartridge casings.
One of them collected by another crime scene technician.
Yes, sir.
I'm not trying to run into that. And you can't testify as to that, just kidding.
I cannot.
And that would be the one marked, what number?
F7.
F7?
Mhm.
Let me ask you to tell us what you can identify then about State's Exhibit number 24.
May I open it?
Of course.
Do you want me to go in the second packaging?
No, go ahead.
These are the 15 cartridge casings from the roadway.
You found 15 cartridge casings on that roadway.
Yes, I did.
Judge, I'm going to have each of these items marked separately.
My suggestion would be 24A, that would be, that will know they're associated with 24.
You good with the We still have. Give them one in there. What did you do?
Thank you.
Equally low. Like this. E. And there's an envelope inside. You can mark Q.
Thanks for cute.
Let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes as States Exhibits 24A, 24B, through and including 24O, if the court understands what I'm doing.
Yes, sir, I do.
Can you identify those exhibits?
They're my evidentiary items B2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
Okay. The first thing apparent is you skipped a couple of numbers, right?
I did.
Why?
I had two pieces of evidence just in going in the order within which I was working. I had two pieces of evidence that were on a sidewalk next to a wooden privacy fence. And they were not cartridge casings. They were actually two flip-flop sandals. So I made those. They ended up being 9 and 10.
Let me show you what's been admitted into evidence of States Exhibit number 4. Can you identify this?
Those are the two flip-flops.
There's a picture of the two flip-flops, right?
Yes, yes.
And those would be the two exhibits missing from when you just read items 24A through 24O.
Correct.
And you collected these flip-flops and took them to the police station and checked them into the evidence room
Yes, I did.
because they were at a crime scene.
Correct.
Now, exhibits 24A through 24O, what did you do with them? How can you identify them? I'll ask you that.
It is my handwriting on the front of each of the envelopes, again with my seal, my initials, my badge number, and the date that that seal was placed on the envelope. And by identifying information on the front, it is our case number, it's the item of evidence. It will have my badge number and my initials, the date and time that I collected it, and a description of what is in this packaging.
And what is in each of those packages
22 caliber cartridge casing.
that you found at the scene?
Yes, sir.
I've got to. I need you to open each one of those and just be sure there's a casing inside. They've got to be opened anyway, Judge.
Go ahead.
Well, Some scissors. Would scissors help?
Be a little bit quicker.
Can I check in the back?
Costume's gonna check for you.
Wrong.
I'll tell them to get some. Oh, wonderful, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Tape.
Thank you.
Okay, you just removed that from State's Exhibit 24A.
Yes, sir.
It's a,
22 caliber cartridge casing.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
And the 22 caliber cartridge casing was what was supposed to be in there, right?
That is correct.
Did you mark your initials or anything on the cartridge casing,
I did not.
just on the packaging?
That's correct.
Is that general order?
Yes. That is yet another
Cartridge casing?
casing. 24C is another cartridge casing.
Okay.
.24D is a cartridge casing as well. .24E is a cartridge casing. .24F is a cartridge casing. .24G is a cartridge casing. .24H is a cartridge casing. .24I is a cartridge casing. .24J is a cartridge casing. .24K is a cartridge casing. .24L is a cartridge casing. .24M is a cartridge casing. .24N is a cartridge casing. And .24O is a cartridge casing.
And Kelly, were cartridge casings supposed to be in all of those envelopes?
Yes, sir.
And they were, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me show you State's Exhibit 24P, because that's all will go. What is 24P?
It is a brown paper bag.
And items 24A through 24O were contained in 24P when you opened State's Exhibit 24. right?
Yes, that's correct.
And State's Exhibit 24Q, can you identify this?
It appears to be packaging.
Not your packaging, is it?
No, it is not.
Young, at this time, the state will offer, for record purposes only, State's Exhibits 23, 24, 24A through 24Q.
State's Exhibits 23, 24, 24A through Q exclusive charges.
When you say exclusive, you mean just those items? Because I always say
Inclusive.
Did you say inclusive?
Your Honor, we're going to have some crime scene tape to reseal those envelopes so that they don't get mixed up.
However you want to do that, we'll do that after court.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Collins, let me show you what's remarked for identification purposes. The state's exhibit number 25. Can you identify that exhibit?
This is my evidentiary item B21, and I have it labeled as one turquoise, navy, and white travel blanket containing one black hand towel with pumpkins, one turquoise, orange, and yellow hand towel, assorted medical debris, all with suspected blood, collected from the ground on the north side of the south alley in the 5200 block of Kingston.
And would that be the blanket you told us about that had various medical items wrapped up in it along with the book?
That is correct.
Would you open State's Exhibit 25 to be certain that those are the contents?
This is really large. You need to, I can obviously see the travel blanket, but without.
You'd have to take it out, open it up to see if things are inside.
Yes, sir.
Judge, may I move the table over and spread some paper on it?
I think we're going to break at this time, and she can look at that during the break and talk about it tomorrow.
Very good.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be in recess until 9 in the morning. We'll try to be back at the courthouse about 8:45 or so as soon as Austin comes back in. I want to be sure you put your notepads in the envelopes and they will be collected for safety. Just keep him and then you'll come back to the courthouse tomorrow under the direction of Mr. Costin. So let's get him back in here, then we'll be in recess. In the meantime, counsel, approach the bench, please. All right, again, ladies and gentlemen, we're recessed until 9. Try to be here between 8:45 and 9. Be sure that Mr. Costin has your notepads and your envelopes, and they will be stored for safekeeping and returned to you in the morning. Please remain in the courtroom. Doctor, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Have a seat. As you're probably aware, the witness rule is in effect, and when you be in the courtroom during your testimony, you can't talk to the case about the case till the trial's over unless you speak with the attorney. I'm going to need you to get pretty close to
Yes.
that microphone. Mark, you may proceed.
Thank you. Please state your name.
My name is Emily Ogden. It's Ogden.
And what is your occupation?
I'm a medical examiner for the Dallas County Medical Examiner's Office, which is also known as the Southwestern Institute of Forensic Sciences, or SWIFS.
And would you tell the jury what educational background and training, professional training you have that qualifies you as a medical pathologist?
I attended undergrad at Texas A&M University and then medical school also at Texas A&M. I graduated in 2005 from undergrad and 2009 from medical school. Following that, I did a 4-year residency in anatomic and clinical pathology at the Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston and a 1-year fellowship in forensic pathology at SWIFS. And I'm board certified in anatomic, clinical, and forensic pathology.
And what is, Dr. Ogden, forensic pathology?
So forensic pathology, our specific job is to determine a cause and manner of death. And in order to do that, we perform autopsies where we perform toxicology testing, physical examination, and incorporate everything into a report.
And does Wichita County have a medical examiner?
They do not.
And so do you perform autopsies for Wichita County?
We do.
And At the Justice of Peace request, or my request as district attorney, that do you perform autopsies for Wichita County?
Yes.
And what is an autopsy?
So there are several parts to an autopsy. The first thing is going to be the external examination, where we will document clothing, property, any injuries, scars, tattoos, things like that. During the external, we also draw blood for the toxicology testing. And if necessary, during that external part, we will perform x-rays, collect evidence, do other things before the body is cleaned. After that, we do the internal exam where we remove each organ individually and I examine each organ. And then, like I said earlier, I incorporate everything into a report.
And how many autopsies have you performed?
So I do somewhere between 300 and 350 a year, and I've been with SWIFT for 5 years.
And have you ever testified as an expert in forensic pathology?
Yes,
On few or many occasions?
many.
Yes, Sam?
Let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 26, which has previously been given to the Defense Counsel, and ask if you recognize that.
So this is a copy of my autopsy report for Lauren T. Landavazo, as well as diagrams that I prepared, what we call a court diagram.
Thank you, I appreciate it. At this time, the State would offer what's been marked as State's Exhibit 26.
Your Honor, I have no objection to that document as I've been previously provided that document. And
I'm sorry.
Your Honor, and in addition, defense would offer at this time to agree and stipulate that Lauren Landavazo's tragic death was caused by gunshot wounds to the head and or body.
State's 26 is admitted.
This time, while I appreciate Defense Counsel's willingness to stipulate, I believe the jury is entitled to listen to what the interest is in. Thank you. And Dr. Ogden, when the body of Lauren Landavazo arrived at Swift's, what date was that?
The autopsy was performed on September 3rd of 2016. I'm not sure if she had arrived the night prior, but the autopsy was performed on September 3rd.
Okay. And what's the general procedure when a body arrives at Swift's?
So they are checked in to our incoming body cooler, and when they are checked in, they are given a specific identifying number.
And what is the specific identifying information number for Lauren Landavazo?
Her number was IFS-16-15465.
And what is the date of birth, or was the date of birth of Lauren Landavazo?
October 14th of 2002.
So she'd be a 13-year-old white female?
In 2016, yes.
And do you know the time of death?
What we were given was 4:05 p.m. on September 2nd, 2016.
And the autopsy was performed at the request of whom?
Mike Little, who is the Justice of the Peace for Precinct 1 in Wichita County.
And was anybody from Wichita Falls attending the autopsy?
Yes. Brad Love and Bill Henning of the Wichita Falls Police Department.
Now, is that common for officers to be present during the autopsy?
For homicides, it's not every homicide, but a lot of the times they will come for homicides, yes.
And especially from Wichita Falls?
Yes, Wichita Falls does come, I would say, more than other places.
Okay, thank you. And can you describe for the jury the general condition of Lauren Landavazo's body?
So when she first came in, she was in a hospital gown. You could tell she had been to the hospital before she came to us, which was basically covered in blood, and even with her clothing on, I could see that there were several gunshot wounds visible.
And did you conduct an external examination of Lauren Landavazo?
Yes.
And what were your findings?
So the big things from the external were the gunshot wounds.
And would it help you to describe the jury to have photographs from your autopsy?
Yes.
Let me show you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibits 27 through 58 and ask you if you can identify those.
These are photographs that I took during the autopsy.
And so do State's Exhibits 27 through 58 accurately depict what they purport to depict?
Yes.
This time, the state would offer State's Exhibits 27 through 58, which have previously been provided to the defense.
Your Honor, we previously reviewed these photos and have no objection.
State's Exhibits 27 through 58 inclusive for each of you.
And Doctor, could you do me a favor and come to the Elmo so you can help me describe?
Dr. Ogden, keep your voice open or away from the microphone.
Dr. Ogden, can you describe what's depicted in State's Exhibit 27?
So this is our identification shot that we take on everybody, which has her identifying number and then just a picture of the face. And this is after the body has been cleaned.
And that is a facial shot of Lauren Landavazo?
Yes.
And can you show us State's Exhibit 28, please? Can you describe what State's Exhibit 28 is?
To preface this, when I am describing gunshot wounds, I tend to go from the top down. So that doesn't mean that this was the first gunshot wound that occurred, but this is what I'm calling gunshot wound number 1. And it's located on the top right side of the head. So here the hair has been shaved around the gunshot wound, but it's about right here.
And what can you tell us about gunshot wound number 1?
So things we look for with gunshot wounds, we want to know if it's an entrance wound or an exit wound. That's the first thing we try and determine. Entrance wounds are usually round, nice and round, and the way that I would describe it, so when the bullet goes into the skin, it takes some of the skin in with it, so you're not going to be able to put that back together again. An exit wound, when the bullet goes out, the skin goes out with it, so you should be able to put the skin back together. And so you can see this is a nice round hole with a defect in the middle that I cannot put back together. So this is a pretty classic entrance wound. Other things we look for are gunshot residue around the wound. So we look for things called soot and stippling. And soot is just the gunpowder particles that get deposited on the skin. If I only see soot, that tells me in general that the barrel of the gun, the end of the gun, was between contact and about 2 inches away from the skin. Stippling is from little gunpowder particles that have spread out and formed little scrapes or abrasions on the skin. And so if I have soot and stippling, that tells me it's from about 2 inches to 1 foot. And then after that, if I just have stippling and no soot, is about 1 to 3 feet. And then if I have none of those things, it'll tell me that it's more than 3 feet away. In this case, since she did have hair, sometimes that will obscure things and you can't see any residue on the skin. But just looking at this, I would say that it's at least 3 feet away.
Okay, and then did you find an exit wound for that gunshot wound?
I did not.
And did you recover anything? Is the next one the same?
The next one is a closer up photo of this.
Would that assist you to explain gunshot wound?
So like I was saying, it's a nice round hole and no residue is on the skin.
And so what you do is you take a perspective shot, which would be State's Exhibit 27, or excuse me, 28, and then this is 29 to get a closer view of the injury.
Correct. So I'll take one further away so you can see where on the body it is, and then a closer up to see the actual characteristics of the wound.
Okay. And then State's Exhibit 30. Did you recover? It's okay.
Okay.
Did you recover any fragments of bullets from the gunshot wound 1?
Yes. So this was recovered from within the head. The bullet in this case went through. I'm sorry. It went through the right parietal lobe and the cerebellum. So the top of the brain and then the cerebellum, and also part of the brainstem. And I recovered these along the wound track.
Would that injury alone have been fatal to Lauren Landavazo?
Yes.
And would it have been immediate if that had been the first shot?
Yes. Without your brainstem, you are basically not functioning. So she would have been dead from that.
And then did you find a gunshot wound 2?
Yes.
And is it just depicted in those photographs?
Yes.
And you're displaying State's Exhibit 31?
Yes.
And what does it indicate to you, if anything?
So this is gunshot wound number 2. and it's an entrance and an exit. It looks irregular from the one that I just described because it went more at a tangential angle. It did not actually go into the skull, so it kind of just went in and out.
And did you find any soot or stippling?
No,
And so what does that tell you?
at least 3 feet away.
And then part of what you do also, do you look at trajectory or to try to see if it's the same bullet to prove the entrance and the exit?
Yes.
And how do you do that?
So we have different probes that we can use. Also, once we get inside, we can usually see an actual track for the bullet.
And did you use a probe in this gunshot wound?
Yes.
And Matthew shows State's Exhibit 32 and ask you what that depicts.
So this is a probe just showing that this is all the same wound.
And so is that consistent with that bullet path?
Yes.
Gunshot wound number, did you find a gunshot wound number 3?
Yes.
And where was that gunshot wound?
This is on the right shoulder.
And what can you tell us
Sorry.
about?
Okay.
You're doing fine. And that's Exhibit 32?
33.
Oh, 33, sorry. Need to lower my glasses.
So this is another one where she has a large abrasion, so a little more tangential, but actually right here is the hole, and I can see it on this picture. I can't really see it on the screen. But she does have an entrance wound on the right shoulder, and after going through the skin, it ended up in skeletal muscle.
And on that, when you don't have the exit wound, earlier you said that you go inside, what does that mean?
When we do our internal examination.
And so you would have done that on this,
Yes.
in this
Yes.
wound?
Also, we have x-rays to help us, so I knew that there was, from the x-rays, I knew there was a bullet in that general region.
And did you, on your internal exam, find any bullets or bullet fragments?
Yes.
In State's Exhibit 34, does that depict what you recovered from that injury, gunshot wound 3?
Yes. And so I found the bullet in between the clavicle and the rib, so right about here.
And did you find a gunshot wound number 4?
Yes.
And you're showing us State's Exhibit 35?
Yes.
And what does that depict at the knee?
So this is the right breast. This is the entrance wound right here. And then this is a partial exit, so the bullet broke up and a little piece came out right here. This is a separate wound that I described later.
Okay. And did you recover, or is there a closer
Yes.
photograph of that, which would be State's 36? And that's just giving you,
So the entrance and a partial exit.
and did you recover any fragments from that gunshot wound?
Yes, I did.
And that's gunshot wound 4?
Yes. This fragment was recovered from the tissue of the right breast.
And that's State's Exhibit 37?
Yes.
And was there a gunshot wound number 5?
Yes.
And where was that gunshot wound?
So this is kind of towards the back on the right side. She's lying down, and so this is an entrance wound.
And that's State's Exhibit.
38.
And did you find any soot or stippling on that injury?
No.
And did you find any soot or stippling on any of the gunshot wounds?
No.
So what does that tell you?
They were all at least 3 feet away.
And on the gunshot wound number 5, did you find an exit wound?
No.
And through your internal examination, did you find a fragment or fragments?
Yes.
And so in State's 39, is that the fragment you recovered?
Yes. And so this gunshot wound actually went through the right side of the liver and ended up in her spinal column. It was down towards the bottom of the spinal column, what we call the cauda equina. And so had she suffered this injury, it would not have paralyzed her. If she had survived, she might have had trouble controlling her bowel and bladder, but it would not have paralyzed her.
And could that injury alone have been fatal?
Since it went through the liver, yes.
And then was there a gunshot wound 6?
Yes.
And in gunshot wound 6, where was that located?
So gunshot wound 6 is, there are several in kind of the same area on the left shoulder, and so this one is what I designated as gunshot wound number 6.
And that's State's Exhibit 40.
Yes.
And was there an exit wound on gunshot wound number 6?
No.
And during your internal exam, did you recover any oh, excuse me. Is there a closer view of that?
Yes.
I'm sorry. That's State's Exhibit 41?
Yes.
And
And so this is gunshot wound number 6, and this is gunshot wound number 7, which I will talk about after. But this specifically is the one we're discussing right now.
okay. And so the reason why we show the closer photos is so that you can explain to us exactly, specifically, where each gunshot wound is.
Yes.
Because if we just showed you the distant shot, it's hard to differentiate where the actual gunshot wound is.
Yes, and it's easier to see the actual characteristics on the close-up shots.
And what can you tell us about gunshot wound 6?
So gunshot wound number 6, it went into the left chest, hit the left lung, and kind of ended up over on the side of the left chest.
And we're looking at State's 41?
Yes,
And so there was no exit wound on
correct.
gunshot wound 6? And during your internal examination, did you find a fragment for gunshot wound 6?
Yes. So this was recovered from gunshot wound number 6, kind of more towards the back.
And that's State's Exhibit 42?
Yes.
And then you mentioned a moment ago that there was a gunshot wound number 7?
Yes. If I could go back to 41.
So State's Exhibit 41.
So this hole on the left shoulder.
And what can you tell us about gunshot wound number 7?
So that one, again, only went through skeletal muscle, and I did recover fragments from that bullet.
And do you have a photograph depicting those fragments that you recovered?
Yes.
And that would be State's Exhibit
43.
43. Was there a gunshot wound number 8?
Yes. Gunshot wound number 8 was on the left wrist.
And that's State's Exhibit 44?
Yes. So the outside of the left wrist,
And where is that located on State's 44?
this right here.
And is there a closer shot, or is that the best shot that we were able to get on?
It's not a closer shot, but it's a shot of her arm.
Can you show us that State's Exhibit 45?
Yes. So this is her arm, kind of looking at y'all like this. And with this one, you can see all these smaller abrasions, and that is what I would call pseudo-stippling. And with pseudo-stippling, as opposed to actual gunshot stippling, it's a lot coarser, more irregular. If this were actual stippling, they would all be very, very small and more regular around the wound. And so pseudo-stippling, to me, implies that the bullet went through something before striking her, and it kind of creates a shrapnel effect. The other way that could cause it is if the bullet struck the ground first and broke up into a bunch of pieces before hitting her.
And Dr. Schreiner?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Ogden? I'll show you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit 20. And ask you if the victim was holding this binder this way, could she have gotten stippling had the bullets gone through the binder or hit the binder?
Yes.
And likewise, if the victim had been, Lauren Landavazo had been holding State's Exhibit 21, somewhere about her person, could she have gotten the stippling?
Yes.
The pseudo-stippling, excuse me. And could you also get pseudo-stippling if a bullet hits the ground and the ground is either gravel or asphalt or some other coarse substance?
Yes.
And was there an exit wound on gunshot wound 8?
No.
And through your internal exam, did you recover any bullets or bullet fragments?
Yes.
And that would be State's Exhibit 46?
Yes. And this was recovered from the left forearm area.
And was there a gunshot wound to Lauren Landavazo, number 9?
Yes.
And on State's Exhibit 47, is it depicted in that State's Exhibit?
Yes.
Can you show the jury?
So this is kind of a complex wound. The initial entrance is on the side of the ring finger. It then comes out the ring finger, goes into the middle finger, comes out the middle finger, and then kind of grazes the pointer finger. So this is all the same gunshot wound.
So even though it goes in and out, it's still classified as one gunshot wound?
Yes.
And what is a graze wound?
So a graze wound is where it doesn't actually go into the skin. It just grazes along the skin to create a deep laceration.
And do you have a closer view of that injury?
Yes. So in this picture, you can see that her ring finger is broken.
And that State's Exhibit 48.
48.
And doctor, was there a gunshot wound number 10?
Yes.
Where was that located?
So I had to group gunshots 10 through 14 just based on their location and what they went through. And so there are 5 entrances. This one is a separate one, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the right forearm.
And is that consistent with holding that binder again?
It's consistent with her arm being in the way of the bullets. Since arms are mobile, I can't say where it was at the time.
And what can you tell us about the bullet paths, if any, on gunshot wounds 10 through 14?
So with these, 3 of them did exit out the bottom of her right forearm. I did find several fragments within the forearm also.
And that's State's Exhibit 49 that you're showing us?
Yes.
And then State's Exhibit 50, does that show depict those fragments?
Yes. So these were recovered from the right forearm.
And then was there a gunshot wound number 15?
Yes. And so this is 15. If you'll recall from that last picture, it's more towards the wrist. And this is what I would call a combined entrance-exit. I can't tell for sure which one is the entrance and which one is the exit from this one. But if I had to make an educated guess, I would say that this is the entrance and this is the exit. So basically, it just went in real fast and came out with a little skin bridge in between.
So why would you say one was the entrance as opposed to the exit?
So as I was describing earlier, this one's has more of the round characteristic. And this one looks more like you could put it back together.
And that's State's Exhibit 51.
51, yes.
And then, was there a gunshot wound number 16 to Lauren Landavazo?
No.
Okay. And I forgot to mention, you didn't recover any fragments from what's depicted in State's 51 wound number 15.
I did not.
Is there any, was there any grazed gunshot wounds?
Yes.
And how many?
There were 3 grazed gunshot wounds.
And can you show us what's been marked previously as State's Exhibit 52? Oh,
Yes, this is 52. This is her left arm, about right here. And like I was saying, it goes through the skin and creates kind of a deep tear, but did not actually penetrate into the muscle.
and so that's consistent with grazing her arm and then going on somewhere else?
Yes.
And then is there a grazed wound number 2?
Yes. So you can see it here. And so what it is when her arm is flexed, it's about right here. I think it shows better in 54.
That was 53?
Yes.
And so State's Exhibit 54 is a better view of it?
Yes. So it's this one right here. This is the armpit, and then this is grazed wound number 1. So on the top of the arm, and this is more on the inside.
And then was there a grazed wound, or grazed gunshot wound number 3?
Yes. This was on the right hand. And so it's on the right pointer finger.
And that's State's Exhibit number 55?
55, yes.
And then, after you've done all of that, do you take photographs of any other injuries?
Yes.
And what do you take photographs of?
So in this case, she had some bruises on her legs, and like we saw earlier on both of her breasts, she had abrasions or scrapes.
And can you show us what's been previously marked as State's and admitted as State's Exhibit 56?
So this one on the right breast and this one on the left breast. Those could be graze wounds. They don't have all of the characteristics of graze wounds, so I'm not entirely confident calling those graze wounds, but they are abrasions.
And can you show us State's Exhibit 57 and even a closer view of that injury? Could you tell whether it was absolutely a graze wound?
No, and this is the left breast, and so you can see there's a bunch of bruising around it and a very deep abrasion.
And can you show us State's Exhibit 58 and what does that depict?
So on 58, this is the left side of her face, and like I was talking about earlier with the pseudo-stippling, it has some characteristics of pseudo-stippling, but it also could be consistent with her falling on the gravel. Per the report that we received, she was found face down, so I'm not entirely sure if that's pseudo-stippling or just abrasion from the gravel.
Okay, and had Lauren Landavazo been carrying State's Exhibit 20 or 21, holding it to her chest, and then bullets striking that and going through State's Exhibit 20 or 21, could that have, had she turned her head, could that have possibly caused pseudo-stippling?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. You may have a seat. Now, Coach Ron,
Yes, ma'am.
I'll show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 59 and ask if you can make that right.
So this actual outer envelope, I do not recognize, but it says that it's 8 envelopes of projectiles from the autopsy.
Yeah, but it's in a sealed condition.
Yes.
Could you open that for me? Whatever makes it easy, okay? I'll take that. Can I ask you to open those one at a time, just to confirm the contents, and then you can just place it back in.
Yes, these are all bullets or bullet fragments that I recovered at autopsy.
And that, is that State's Exhibit 59A through H?
Yes.
this time to say what was previously marked as State's Exhibit 59A through H?
No objection, Your Honor.
And do you object to me having the DA investigators seal those back?
59A through 8 to be submitted.
And the state would also offer State's Exhibit 59. Is it bad?
No objection, Your Honor.
59 submitted also.
And once you recover those, what's the process of packaging those fragments?
So I create an envelope that has the decedent's name, case number, the location where I recovered it, and then my name. I put them in one envelope. So in the example from the right forearm where I got several fragments, those all go in the same envelope. And then I put evidence tape and I sign over the evidence tape.
And then once you do that, where does it go?
After that, it goes to evidence registration. So I put it in a locker. I have a barcode on my name badge, and each of those has a barcode. So I scan that it's going from me to the locker. And then after that, it goes to wherever it needs to go within our office. But that is the end of my involvement with it.
So in this case, it went to a firearms expert or ballistics expert contained in the laboratory SWIFTs.
Yes.
And Dr. Ogden, back to your autopsy that you performed on Lauren Landavazo, how many possible fatal injuries did Lauren Landavazo sustain?
3.
And what gunshot wounds were those?
Gunshot wound number 1, which was the head. Gunshot wound number 5, which is the one that went through the liver. And then gunshot wound number 6, which went through the left lung.
And do you have a professional medical opinion as to the cause of death of Lauren Landavazo?
Yes.
And what is that?
Gunshot wounds.
And how did you rule the death of Lauren Landavazo?
The manner of death was homicide.
Ask the witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think we all agree that this was a horrifically tragic event. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
But in your job, I noticed you use clinical terms.
Yes.
Why do you do that?
As a matter of record, it's a medical document, so
It's a medical or scientific document.
Yes.
That you expect to be used in court.
yes.
And so you try to be as objective as possible?
By me calling it a homicide, I'm just saying that she died at the hands of another person. There's a difference between homicide and murder's a legal term, and homicide's the medical term.
Right, I was getting there. You use the word homicide in your report, and it's in evidence at this point. But as you mentioned, that just means that someone was killed by other than natural means?
So we have 5 different manners that we can use. We have natural, which is the most common, accident, suicide, homicide, and undetermined.
But you're not here to talk about any defenses or legal determinations that are left of the jury.
No.
You don't make those decisions, and you don't pretend to.
No.
Similarly, you mentioned the time of death notation, that you were provided with the time of death, so that's what you indicated in your report.
Yes.
Is that what medical examiners usually do?
Yes.
So for instance, if someone was declared dead when they were found the next morning after death, and they put a time there, is that the time you would use in your report?
Yes. So if somebody is, for example, found dead in their home, on the report, instead of saying actual in parentheses, which this one has 4:05 p.m. actual, we would put 4:05 p.m. found.
Okay. Now, I'm not a doctor or a scientist by any nature. Are you going to be offended if I also try to use clinical terms to talk about what happened or your examination?
I'll try not to be.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about bullets. The fragments you recovered, is it your understanding that bullets can break up or form on impact?
Yes.
And that might change the direction the bullet's traveling after it hits tissues?
Yes. So especially if something strikes bone, it can change trajectories.
I was interested to note that on some of the photos, it appeared the entrance and exit wounds were extremely close together and on the same side of an extremity, for instance, the arm.
Yes.
Can you tell us more specifically about how that might happen?
So it would be like, let's say you're sewing and the sewing needle goes into your finger and it goes through a little bit of skin and comes out, but it's still on the same side. So it doesn't go in very deep. It just kind of skins along on the inside.
Because bullets form and break up, as we've seen, and now the fragments have been introduced into evidence, is it difficult to determine a precise angle of impact
It's not difficult to determine a general trajectory. So front to back, left to right, and then up or down. Generally, the trajectory is not so far deviated that I wouldn't be able to tell that.
What about ricochet bullets?
So with a ricochet bullet, that would be, for example, if it struck the ground and then bounced off the ground into the body. So I could still tell the trajectory, but the initial trajectory would be downward and the ricochet might be up.
So there were a couple of, one or two very clear entrance wounds in the photos.
Yes.
And the majority of the wounds were somewhat irregular?
They had characteristics of going through another object before. So not a classic entrance wound like that one on the head that I described.
So one explanation for an irregular entry wound could be angle, right?
Yes.
Or it could be that it passed through an object.
Yes.
Or it could be that it grazed another object.
Yes.
Or I guess that would be a ricochet.
Yes.
Those are all possibilities for an irregular entrance.
Yes.
And you don't have a way that we don't have a way today to determine which of those occurred for any particular one.
No.
Except for if you gather fibers from inside a wound track or.
So that can tell me what it went through before. There was one that did have clothing fibers on it, the one on the right shoulder.
And that wouldn't be unusual for a projectile passing through clothes.
It's not terribly common, but we do see it.
You talked a little bit about stippling and pseudo-stippling. When you say pseudo, does that mean looks like?
Right, so it's not actually from the gunpowder particles, it's from something else.
So you described all the stippling in the photos as pseudo-stippling, am I right?
Yes.
And there's a couple of spots where there's the pseudo-stippling.
Yes.
And similar to the irregular entry wounds, you described several ways in which that happened.
Yes.
And you don't have a way to distinguish between those various ways.
No.
One of them being if the bullet broke up before impact by impacting something else first, right?
Correct.
Or by going through something else first,
Yes.
or by kicking up debris from the ground, for instance, in around the wound.
Yes.
Because if a bullet impacts the ground, right, at a steep angle, then if it's close to tissue, then it might kick up high velocity dirt or gravel, right?
Yes.
And you didn't, in this case, we don't have any way of knowing which of those things happened.
Right. I was not there at the time. I have not seen scene photos, so I have no understanding of what the actual scene looked like.
Similarly, you have no way of knowing how many shots were actually fired on the day of Ms. Landavazo's death.
Correct.
You have no way of knowing how many shots entirely missed.
Correct.
But we do know that she was shot many times.
Yes.
You've been a medical examiner for 5 years, you said?
Yes.
That's a pretty long time to be doing this job.
I'm one of the younger people at my office, but
Is it exhausting to do this day in and day out?
not usually. Some cases are take longer than others, so this one obviously took a while, but for the bread and butter natural cases, it takes about an hour.
I kind of was referring to sort of the emotional toll that it takes.
There's a certain personality type to do this job, and so I tend to not try and let things affect me like that.
Well, you've seen a lot of gunshot wounds.
Yes.
And would you categorize this pattern of shots as imprecise?
I don't know what you mean by imprecise.
It's not a tight grouping of shots?
Well, the ones on the forearm are, but everything else, yes, I'd say it's kind of all over the place.
And we're not sure which ones were ricochets. We know a couple that aren't, but we're not sure which other ones were ricochets or could have passed through something else.
Correct.
Pass the witness.
Anything further?
Just one question, Your Honor. Dr. Ogden, had Lauren Landavazo, 13-year-old Caucasian female that you did an autopsy on, had she not sustained the gunshot wound she sustained, did you find any evidence of disease that would have prevented Lauren Landavazo from living a normal, active life?
No. Aside from the gunshot wounds, she had a perfectly normal 13-year-old organ system.
Thank you, pass the witness.
No further questions.
Thank you, Doctor. You may step down here, excuse, please remember the witness rules on the sheet.
You understand you're still under oath?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Collins, let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes, the state's exhibit number 25. Can you identify that exhibit?
That is the travel blanket and contents that we discussed yesterday that were lying on the ground at the east end of the alley.
That's a blanket that was folded and containing many items, correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you have occasion to open that yesterday after the jury left, spread out some paper on a table, and open the contents, remove the contents of State's Exhibit 25?
Yes, I did.
And you spread them out, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
And did that sack, State's Exhibit 25, contain what your notes reflected it should contain, which is the evidence you kind of showed in the photograph?
Yes, sir.
And then photographs were taken of the contents of State's Exhibit 25, right?
Correct.
We make it A, B, C, D. 25 acres, whatever. Perfect. How many are there, do you know?
It was taken with this yesterday.
A through K.
Ms. Collins, let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes, State's Exhibit 25A, B, et cetera, through K, inclusive, okay?
Yes, sir.
Look at them and see if you can identify them.
These items were, these photographs were taken in my presence yesterday, and they depict items that are contained within this packaging.
So they truly and accurately depict items contained within the packaging of State's Exhibit 25. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
At this time, we will offer into evidence State's Exhibits 25A, B, C, et cetera, through State's Exhibit 25K inclusive.
Mr. Poole, this is Kay.
Your Honor, we've had the previous opportunity to view the evidence itself and have no objection to these photos.
State's Exhibits 25A through K inclusive are each admitted.
She was trying to tell me something, Judge. Now I realize it's 25A through J. And then
25
K is
through J are admitted, K has not been offered yet.
correct, it wasn't offered. Judge, may I publish these for the jury to see and for Ms.
Yes, sir.
Collins to explain? And what we would say, Judge, the reason for this is the jury can see what's inside that bag without really removing it themselves, although they have every right in the world to remove it,
Certainly.
because we are now offering the contents of State's Exhibit 25, along with 25 itself.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
State's Exhibit 25, the evidence bag and contents is also admitted.
It's just, what we say is handling these is a whole lot safer than handling that.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Collins, let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 25A. Can you identify that?
That is what I suspect to be a bullet slug, a projectile, with hair fibers attached to them
Where was this found?
in this packaging yesterday.
Did that surprise you?
Yes, it did.
Why?
I can only surmise that due to the saturation of the evidence at the time that I collected it. When I came back and dried it, I believe that this must have adhered itself to a piece of evidence in there, and it was not located at the time I collected it.
Tell the jury what you mean when you say you dried the evidence.
We have a drying chamber in our office. It's a 2-chambered machine, and it allows, we have massive filters in it, and it allows air to come through and circulate through the chamber and dry our evidence, because we cannot turn anything that we have evidentiary-wise that is wet, cannot be submitted to our property room. That causes bacterial growth and can degrade our evidence and any DNA, things of that nature that may be on it when things start to mold. So we have to dry things completely before we are allowed to submit them to our property room.
Would these items have been removed from State's Exhibit 25, the sack, and then spread out for drying in the room individually?
They are kept, I put down, there is white butcher paper in here that lines our chamber, and basically in this case what I did to avoid any massive manipulation, because when this evidence leaves me, I don't know where it's going. I have the responsibility to preserve any trace evidence that may be contained within my collection. So what I did in this situation is I put butcher paper in our drying chamber. I put the blanket in there with the contents. So basically I just opened the blanket up and then I let it dry. It took almost 2 days for this evidence to dry.
And it's your educated opinion that after the evidence dried, there was some release of the adhesive nature of something, and this fragment came loose from whatever it was stuck to.
And that is a high likelihood. This packaging with the suspected blood.
Okay. You weren't in here for testimony of other witnesses, is that correct?
No, sir.
All right. And you weren't because you weren't allowed to be, is that correct?
That's correct.
If someone had testified that they had some towels that they secured stuff in a hole to stop bleeding, would the towels you saw be consistent with that kind of testimony?
I would say that yes, there is consistency there.
Okay. 25D is what?
Is just another view of the towel, the same towel.
And it has some stains on it? Or?
Yes, sir.
What is 25E?
We discussed yesterday there being what I felt small pieces of paper on the ground at this scene, and on some of this evidence there are also small white pieces of paper.
And I think you speculated that might have come out of the notebook or whatever when the paper was blown apart.
Yes, sir.
What is reflected in State's Exhibit 25L?
I turned the towel over to allow photography to show the staining on the opposite side, and then also in the upper right corner of that towel is another small white piece of paper.
We're talking about up here?
Yes, sir.
And does this to you appear to be blood stains on the towel?
I would call it suspected blood, yes, sir.
Okay. Another reason why you would want to handle it with gloves, plastic gloves.
That's correct.
State's Exhibit 25G shows what?
It's an overall of the backside of the same towel.
State's Exhibit 25H reflects what?
It's a close-up of what appears to be a small white piece of paper.
Okay. That piece of paper you talked about earlier.
Yes, sir.
What is shown in State's Exhibit 25I?
That is a second towel that is contained in this packaging.
That would be one side of that towel?
Yes, sir.
And let me show you State's Exhibit 25J. What is reflected on here?
That is the backside of that towel.
What
With what
is relevant about this?
just the amount of staining. I wanted to show the amount of staining on the back of that.
And based on your experience, what do you think that stain to be?
I would term that as suspected blood.
All right. And it was easier to see on the lighter colored side of the towel than it is on the darker color. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But State's Exhibit 25I and State's Exhibit 25J are the same item of evidence, they're just the front and back of it, is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have with the photographs, Judge. Kelly, directing your attention to 25K. Can you identify this?
I removed that suspected hair and a bullet slug from this packaging yesterday and packaged it separately.
And is that the package you put it in?
Yes, it is.
How do you know that?
It has my initials, my badge number, and yesterday's date, which was the day I put the seal on this. And I actually did the collection yesterday, which was September the 13th at 17:20 hours, which is 5:20 in the afternoon.
Had you found this out at the scene, would it have been put in one of those smaller envelopes we saw yesterday?
I probably would have actually bindled it in a piece of paper, folded it, what we call a bindle, in a piece of paper, and then put it in an envelope.
Why? Why put it in a
Protection.
piece of paper?
So it doesn't get lost. It's just easier if it's transported somewhere else for further analyzation. They can actually open that up, and everything that is adhered to that, whether there be whatever type of biologicals, will still be with these pieces of evidence.
Did you put it in a bindle when you put it into State's Exhibit 25K?
I did not have any.
Paper that you used
Paper,
for,
no.
you had trouble finding an envelope?
Yes, I did.
Would you open State's Exhibit 25K?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you to remove the contents and show them to the.
Your Honor, may I get up?
Yes, ma'am.
Kelly, what you're showing the jury is this slug fragment you found with what appears to be tissue and hair attached to it.
Yes, sir. Are you guys able to see this?
Kelly, would you highly advise against touching that without possible blood?
Yes, yes, I will. Please wear gloves.
This time the state will offer you evidence that you give number 25K and its contents.
I was here when we found the judge. I have no objection.
And it's admitted.
And with that, Judge, I will pass the witness.
Boston.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think the reason that this is unusual to find something at the heat of trial, is that right?
Yes, it is.
And it's normally the type of thing that might otherwise be zoned for testing.
That would be, that is not my call. I'm sorry?
It'd be up to a detective.
That is correct.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay.
The pictures the government, may I approach, Ron?
Yes, sir.
The pictures that the state picked out from the crime scene these aren't even close to all the pictures that you took, right?
That's correct.
And this one, which kind of shows the whole scene. Oh, turn that around, maybe. There we go. Which kind of shows the whole scene. Is one of those broad shots you took. Thank you, sir. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I want to point out to you those cartridge casing markers way in the back.
Yes, sir.
I think we said that there were 15 found at the scene.
Yes, sir.
Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
And it wouldn't surprise you if the crime scene was disturbed by vehicles, that some cartridge casings weren't found because they may have been picked up by the tread of vehicles or otherwise disturbed or moved.
I can tell you that the vehicles that were parked out there, I did check the tread of them, and I did not locate any additional casings.
Okay, but any traffic that came through before the scene was secured could have disturbed those casings, is that correct?
That's a possibility.
Right. So there could have been more shots fired than this, is that correct?
I don't know how you want me to answer that, so with not being there when this incident occurred. I mean, what I collected is what was on scene when I arrived. I mean, I can't speculate whether there were more shots fired or not.
Sure. But generally, vehicles driving through crime scenes can move evidence. You checked the ones you could.
I did check the ones I could, yes.
Now, all these pictures that we have here, like we talked about, that's not all the pictures that were taken. Were you the only one taking pictures out there that day?
Yes, I was.
Because that's one of the jobs you're assigned.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Are there any other photos that you took that you feel like are really important for the jury to see for this case, or are those pretty representative of the pictures that you took?
Are you speaking of this particular scene or of this entire case?
This particular scene.
I don't have any issue whatsoever with what the prosecution,
Offered about this.
offered, yeah, as far as exhibits.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 4, which is going to be the first photo we took. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 4.
Yes, sir.
Did you take that photo? Do
Yes, sir. I believe I did.
you mind if I publish for the jury again?
That's fine.
Thank you, Your Honor. Was this photo taken shortly after you were called out to the scene?
I believe that was taken during my first round of photography, so yes, I would agree with that.
Okay, because we can see that the time of day is different in the photos.
Yes,
Those photos were taken at night, primarily.
Yes.
Photos that were introduced earlier. And this photo was, would you classify this as broad daylight?
afternoon.
Okay, that's the witness.
Anything further?
Judge, based on some of that question, now I just want the record to reflect the state tendered to defense all photographs taken in this case. If they think some other photographs are relevant, perhaps.
That's understood. Any other questions?
I bet I have one, yes, sir. This item that was offered into evidence, the fragments you found yesterday with the human tissue and hair attached to it, you were asked if normally that would be sent for testing, and you said that's not your call.
That is correct, it is not.
Okay, if I told you normally if I'd seen that, I would have sent it off and taken 5 or 6 weeks for testing on it, just to prove what it was. That would make sense to me.
Yes.
Thank you, that's all I have on that, absolutely.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. I believe you're going to be back with us next week.
I am.
Please don't talk about the case. Counsel will arrange for your return.
Thank you, sir.
Judge, we'll call Hillary Avalar.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And as you probably know, the witness rule is in effect. You can only be in here during your own testimony. You can't talk with anyone other than the attorney whose trial's over, okay? Man, you can get a little closer to that microphone.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Poole.
State your name, please.
Hillary Avalar.
How are you employed, ma'am?
I'm a crime scene technician with the Wichita Falls Police Department.
What are your duties as a crime scene technician with the Wichita Falls Police Department?
I respond to crime scenes as needed. I photograph, document, collect evidence, process evidence.
All right. And did you have occasion back around September 2nd, 2016 to process a crime scene at some location?
Yes, I did.
Where were you when you processed that crime scene?
I was at United Regional Hospital.
What in the world crime scene did you have at United Regional Hospital?
I had 2 individuals that had been shot.
Okay, so after these individuals were shot at another location, they were transported to United Regional
Correct.
Hospital. What were you supposed to do then as part of your duties with the crime scene?
I was to photograph the victims and document their injuries, and I collected evidence from the hospital as well.
What evidence did you collect?
The evidence that I collected from the hospital was their clothing and the jewelry from the deceased.
Judge, I'm going to approach and have some items marked for identification purposes.
Yes, sir.
I've got them marked in there. They're not marked, they're not right in there. You want to?
No. Through 30.
Let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes in State's Exhibits 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. I'll ask you to look at those exhibits and tell us if you can identify them.
Yes.
What are State's Exhibits 25 through 30?
26 through 30.
26 through 30.
26 through 30 is the jewelry that I had collected from Lauren Landavazo's body at the time that I was at the hospital. These photographs were actually taken a few days later when it was being released to the family for burial.
Is your understanding she was buried with this jewelry on?
That's my understanding.
And that's why you photographed. Normally, you would just keep the items in evidence.
Correct. Those would normally stay in evidence until the trial.
State will offer into evidence State's Exhibits 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30.
That concludes the board action.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Avalar, did I understand you to say that these photos were taken later, they were not taken at the hospital?
Correct. Those were taken when the property was being released.
Did you take other photos of this property at the hospital?
There were photographs of the photographs taken of the jewelry actually on her body still.
No objection, Judge.
Each exhibit's admitted.
And Judge, may I show these at this time?
Yes, sir.
Well, let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes. State's Exhibit number 26. Can you identify that?
Yes, that was a ring that had been on the hand of Lauren Landavazo.
State's Exhibit number 27. What did I show?
That is another close-up photograph of the same ring. The close-up was taken because you can see suspected blood on the ring as well.
Well, it's difficult to see it out there projected on the screen, but in the photograph, it's kind of apparent. Would that be correct?
Correct.
All right. And where did you obtain this ring?
It was on the hand, I believe it was on her right hand.
So you had to remove it from her body?
Correct.
Let me show you State's Exhibit 28. What is reflected here?
The charm is the necklace that was around her neck. The key was also on the necklace as well. And on the far left side, you can kind of see the chain. There is another photo of the chain, I believe.
All right. Let me show you State's Exhibit number 29. Is that the chain?
Yes, and that chain was around her neck at the time.
So you had to remove the chain from around her neck?
Correct.
And then let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes. State's Exhibit number 30. Can you identify this?
These were the earrings that she was wearing at the time in the hospital.
Where did you find the earrings in order to photograph them?
They were in her ears.
So you removed those earrings from her ears?
Correct.
Through 48.
Now, let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes in State's Exhibits 31, 32, inclusive through 48. I'll ask you to look at those and tell us if you can identify them.
Yes, sir.
Hey, if I'm doing something else, you just call me.
Yes, sir.
Can you identify these exhibits?
I can.
What are they?
These are the clothing that were worn by Lauren Landavazo and Makayla Smith.
Photographs of the jeans worn by each of them,
Yes,
So that would be photographs of two different objects.
correct.
Photographs of the shirts worn by each of them,
Yes.
that would be two different objects. Do those have photographs also of the tennis shoes?
I didn't
Did you
think there was
see
any
any?
tennis shoes in here.
Tennis shoes were also worn by each girl and cut off of each girl at the hospital, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, these items appear to have blood on them. Would that be fair to say?
Suspected.
For you, it's suspected?
Correct.
Okay. Now, at this time, State will offer evidence, States Exhibits 31 through 48 inclusive.
No objection, Judge.
States Exhibits 31 through 48 inclusive are each admitted.
Hillary, we have the clothing here. What I'm going to do is show you these pictures that have been admitted. You tell us what they are, and then I'm going to have you identify the sacks with the material. But again, we've been told, not when you were in here, that it's dangerous to touch some of this stuff with suspected blood on it unless your hands are protected.
Correct.
Would you agree with that?
That is correct.
And would these items reflected in here kind of be representative of those items you would not want to touch?
Correct.
All right, without blood. States Exhibit 31, what is that?
These are the pants that were collected that had been worn by Makayla.
States Exhibit 32.
And this was Makayla's t-shirt.
States Exhibit 33.
This shows a close-up of the suspected bullet hole in Makayla's t-shirt.
Was this the only hole you found that could be a suspected bullet hole?
Correct.
Oh, that's it. She didn't have a lot of holes in her shirt that she
No, she had the one hole.
And one hole was all you found?
Yes.
States Exhibit 34.
This would be the shirt that was worn by Lauren Landavazo.
States Exhibit 35.
These are close-up views of some of the suspected bullet holes in the shirt.
Would it be fair to say this shirt had more holes than the shirt worn by Makayla?
Yes.
States Exhibit number 36.
This would be another bullet hole in the shirt as well.
All right. You found several bullet holes in that shirt, correct?
Correct.
And we were showing photographs of some, but not all.
Correct.
What is States Exhibit 37?
That is another bullet hole in a different location on the shirt. It also shows some of the debris from the ground where she fell as well,
All right, so evidently you surmised she had fallen on the ground into a grassy area?
with stickers and that sort of stuff, because there is a sticker in that picture as well.
Okay. So when she fell into a sticker patch.
Yes.
States Exhibit 38.
That is another suspected bullet hole as well.
States Exhibit 39.
That is another suspected bullet hole.
And what is this measuring device here?
That measuring device we use to show the size of the actual hole itself.
States Exhibit 40.
That would be another suspected bullet hole.
States Exhibit 41.
This is another suspected bullet hole. Looks like there may be two of them right there.
Okay. One here and one up here. States Exhibit 42.
That is another suspected bullet hole.
Yet another one, right? Let me show you States Exhibit 43. What is this?
This is another overall view of the shirt.
Showing grass on it, debris from
The grass and debris. Yes.
Was this shirt off of her when you arrived?
Yes, it was.
States Exhibit 44.
That is another suspected bullet hole as well.
States Exhibit 45.
That is another suspected bullet hole.
States Exhibit 46.
That is yet another two suspected bullet holes.
States Exhibit 47.
These are the pants that were worn by Lauren Landavazo that day.
All right. States Exhibit 48.
Those two are close up of the pants.
Now, let me show you what's been marked by identification purposes. States Exhibit 49, States Exhibit 50. I'll ask you to examine them and then tell us if you can identify them and their contents. I'm also handing you item 51 and asking you to treat it in the same manner as you are the other two exhibits preceding. All right, you've examined those exhibits and their contents, correct?
Yes.
What are the contents of these states exhibits? States Exhibit 49 contains what?
49 is the clothes that I collected from Makayla's room. It includes her jeans, her t-shirt, her tennis shoes, her socks, everything that they had removed from her body.
What is contained in States Exhibit 51?
51 is the pants that were in the photographs that were Lauren Landavazo's.
And what's contained in States Exhibit 50?
50 is going to be a white towel that had been around Lauren, a neck brace, was a pair of her high-top Converse that she had on that had been cut off of her, the blue plaid shirt that was photographed, her socks. There was also a white medical pad in there. And it was like just the drawing paper and the bag that was originally used for collection.
And what is drying paper?
And actually, they all three included the drawing paper. The drawing paper is white butcher paper that we use for when we're drawing items or photographing it. All of those photographs, if you notice, they had a white background. That was the photo paper or the white paper that we used to photograph those items. It is to keep contamination from the surface and from contaminating other evidence as well. So everything in this bag had one piece of paper. Other items in other bags had other pieces of paper within as well.
And are these items contained in States Exhibits 49, 50, and 51, all items collected by you at the facility in the hospital?
Correct.
And each of these bags has a label on it that says hazard, chemical, and/or biologically contaminated, handled with gloves.
Yes.
You would advise that, correct?
Correct.
This time the state will offer an evidence. States Exhibits 49, 50, and 51 and their contents.
They're each admitted.
Now let me show you what's been marked for identification purposes in States Exhibits 52, through 80 inclusive. I'll ask you to examine these items and tell us if you can identify them. This is what she had. Up to another 59. This was 55. You can decide all these projectile shooting. These were here tonight. Yeah, you're fine. Who gets it? Then I'll just say, it's my fault. You finished looking at those?
Yes,
Can you identify them?
yes.
What are they?
They are photographs that I took on September 2nd at the hospital
Photographs of what?
of both Makayla Smith and Lauren Landavazo.
All right. And did these fairly accurately depict what you sought to represent by taking the photographs?
Yes, that's
This time, the state will offer into evidence states exhibits 52 through 80 inclusive.
Judge, may we approach?
Yes, sir. States exhibits 52 through 80 inclusive are admitted.
May I show these to the jury, Your Honor?
Can we get through it in 10 minutes?
We can get through some of them.
Let's go ahead and take a break now, ladies and gentlemen, so you can see the photographs in their entirety. We're going to be recessed until 1:20, not 1:30, 1:20. Jurors, please try to be back at the courthouse between 1 o'clock and 1:20. We'll start back at that time. Counsel will be back at 1 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, be sure to give your notes to Mr. Costa. They'll be maintained for you and submitted to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. State your name.
Hillary Alloy.
Same Hillary Avalar testifying before we had a break.
Yes, sir.
You understand you're still under oath?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, we just had some photographs admitted into evidence. I want to ask you at this time if you can identify these photographs for the purposes of explaining to the jury what they represent, okay?
Okay.
State's Exhibit 152. What is it?
This is the face of Makayla Smith.
Let me stop you right there. Ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to tell you, we discovered a numbering error on the previous exhibits. Mr. Poole has just referred to State's Exhibit 152. Just so you know, States Exhibits 26 through States Exhibit 80 have now been renumbered States Exhibits 126 through States Exhibit 180. You may proceed.
That's a photograph then of Makayla.
Correct.
Where was this taken?
This was taken in exam room 3 at the hospital.
Emergency room 3?
Yes.
State's exhibit number 153.
Kind of hard to see in that picture, but there is a suspected gunshot wound in her right breast.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to see it there, but it's there.
And what is shown in State's exhibit number 154?
That is a close-up of the gunshot wound.
It's a little more apparent in this exhibit.
Yes.
State's exhibit 155, what does that show?
That is a photograph of other entry and exit wounds of the suspected gunshot wound.
Now let me show you State's exhibit 156. What is this?
That is the face of Lauren Landavazo.
And did you take this photograph?
I did.
Where was it taken?
It was taken in trauma room 1 at the hospital.
And have you had an opportunity to compare the photographs you took with the photographs that were taken at the autopsy?
Yes, I have.
Is it one and the same Lauren Landavazo in the autopsy photographs as in these photographs you took?
Yes, it is.
Let me show you State's exhibit 157.
That is an overall of Lauren as she was when I got to the hospital.
These photographs were taken before she was washed and scrubbed for
Correct.
purposes of an autopsy, correct?
Correct.
State's exhibit 158, what does this reflect?
This is her right arm. It is a wide view of her right arm, shows you the overall, so that way you can see, because I do get in closer onto the suspected gunshot wounds, but that's the overall.
And this would be blood underneath.
Suspected blood, yes.
What is reflected in State's exhibit 159?
That is her hospital bracelet, along with a couple of suspected gunshot wounds above the bracelet on her right wrist.
And what's shown in State's exhibit 160?
It's kind of hard to see there, but there is a suspected gunshot wound behind her right ear.
That would be right here.
Correct.
State's exhibit 161.
That is a close-up with the measurements of that suspected gunshot wound.
The same gunshot wound you spoke of in the previous
Correct.
exhibit.
Correct.
State's exhibit 162 shows us what?
That is some suspected gunshot wounds on the right shoulder.
And that would be right through here.
Correct.
State's exhibit 163.
This is close-ups of those suspected gunshot wounds on her right shoulder.
State's exhibit 164. What does this show, the jury?
Those are suspected gunshot wounds on her right breast.
Through here
Correct.
and over here.
Yes.
State's exhibit 165. What is this?
This is going to be close-ups of her right arm.
With apparent gunshot.
And it shows the suspected gunshot wounds up and down her right arm.
State's exhibit number 166 shows us what?
This is going to be her right hand. You can also see the photos of the ring from the previous pictures there on her right index finger.
All right. And then we have another view of that in State's exhibit 167. Is that correct?
Correct.
And was this a bullet tear through here, the best you could do?
From my experience, yes, that's what it looks like.
And after taking these photographs, that's when you personally removed the ring from her
Correct.
finger? Are you the one who released it to her parents, or was that someone else?
That was someone else. That would have been one of the detectives. I believe it was actually Sergeant Henning at the time.
Let me show you State's exhibit 168. What does that show?
That is a suspected gunshot wound in her left forearm, right below the elbow.
Now, 169, what does that show us?
That's going to be an overall of her legs.
All right. And just some bruising on the knee.
There was bruising on her knees, yes.
No gunshots on the
No
leg.
gunshot wounds on the legs.
State's exhibit 170, what is that?
This is going to be a close-up of her left hand.
And, is this where a bullet went through the left hand, a couple of fingers, and grazed the other finger?
It appeared there was a suspected gunshot wound in, I believe it was her left ring finger, and it appears that it went through multiple fingers and pretty much mangled the fingers.
State's exhibit 171, what does that show us?
That shows actually the finger that is right under my measurement. You can kind of see right there where it is coming out of that middle finger, the split, and then the left ring finger, how it is broken and bent.
What is shown in State's Exhibit 172?
That is, it's kind of hard to see there, but right there, her right middle finger is split open on the underneath side from the suspected gunshot wound.
And Judge, some of these are hard to see up here, but the jury will be entitled to take these into the jury room with us.
That's correct.
State's Exhibit 173, what does that show?
That is right there on the outside of that ring finger. There is a small hole that is a suspected gunshot wound. To me, it appeared to be the injury wound. And then you can see where the finger has split apart on the other side as well.
Right, this appears to be the entry.
Yes, it's a small hole right there, and then the other side is all expanded out. And that previous picture showed I believe it was the previous one that showed the underneath side. That was of that same finger.
This one?
Yes, and that right there is where it all split out.
What's shown in State's Exhibit 174?
That is going to be another suspected gunshot wound on, that appears to be her right arm. Oh no, that is her left arm.
Left arm.
It looks like right around the wrist area.
State's Exhibit 175.
And that is going to be a suspected gunshot wound in the upper portion of her left arm.
State's Exhibit 176, what does that show?
There is some bruising and suspected gunshot wounds up on her left shoulder.
What's shown in State's Exhibit 177?
Those are going to be close-ups of those suspected gunshot wounds.
What is shown in State's Exhibit 178?
This is the suspected gunshot wound on the top of her head. It also shows brain matter.
Here in the hair.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 179, what does that show us?
That is the backside of Lauren Landavazo, and that is a suspected gunshot wound in her right side.
And the State's Exhibit 180, a closer view of
That is a closer view of that suspected gunshot wound.
Okay. And Hillary, are you a mother?
Yes,
How old are your children?
I have a daughter that is 22, one that is 16, almost 17, and a son that is 12.
All right. Was this difficult for you?
It was. My daughter was 14 at the time that this happened, so
And Lauren was 13.
Yes.
Close in age.
very close.
All right, thank you. Judge, that's all I have at this time. I'll pass the witness.
Correct.
Yes. Officer Evelar, just terminology, you use the term suspected gunshot wound, suspected this. You don't make the determination on those, is that right?
Correct.
And your job is to just gather the evidence or potential evidence, correct?
Correct, and to document it.
So when you see an abnormality or something that looks at it like it might be an injury that could be evidence, you'll take a photograph of it.
Correct.
And if you're in doubt on anything, I imagine you take a photograph of it.
Correct.
And now, one thing on is the hospital viewed as a crime scene when you arrive there, or?
It is, I mean, we consider it a scene as far as labeling our evidence and all of that sort of stuff. It is a scene.
Is there, and of course, we heard from Kelly Collins, who did out there where the shooting took place, and do you have different procedures for the different locations?
Not necessarily different procedures. I mean, being at the hospital is a little bit different than being out on scene because we don't put up crime scene tape in the hospital. The rooms are secured off and that sort of stuff, and only hospital staff, anybody that is required to be in there for medical treatment, that sort of stuff is allowed in. But, I mean, they do not put up crime scene tape, that sort of stuff. But other than that, procedure is procedure. We still wear gloves. We still, I mean, all of those same procedures are still going to be followed.
And one location would be secured by you, but the other location, of course, there's patients coming in and out, and I guess it's semi-secured, is that correct?
I mean, yes, but their patients aren't going to be going in and out of the rooms that the girls were in.
The
So.
primary function is to care for people,
Correct.
not to gather evidence, because that...
Correct.
And there were 2 emergency rooms that you accessed, is that right?
Correct.
And we looked at photos from those and of the 2 girls, and then we've also looked at some photos that you took later on of the property, is that right?
Correct.